All right, so we have developed the motivation or the discipline to sit down and do our work. We have been able to not get distracted by using our phone, and now we're focusing for an extended period of time. But we probably want to be taking breaks during that focusing session because there is some evidence. I've got a research paper here that says we propose that deactivating and reactivating your goals allows you to stay focused. From a practical standpoint, our research suggests that when faced with long tasks, such as studying before a final exam or doing your taxes, it is best to impose brief breaks on yourself. Brief mental breaks will actually help you stay focused on your task. So basically, we should be taking breaks while we're studying, but we should be intentional about the breaks that we're taking. And one of the most popular methods for doing this is called the pomodoro technique. And that was invented by a guy called Francesco Cirillo in the 1990s. And he named it after the timer. He used to use a tomato timer to time his pomodoro sessions. And that's why it's called the pomodoro technique or the tomato technique. And the idea behind the pomodoro technique is that you work for 25 minutes, then you have a 5-minute break. And you work for 25 minutes, have a 5-minute break. Work for 25 minutes, 5-minute break. Work for 25 minutes, 5-minute break. And then after doing 4 work sessions and a 5-minute break, you then take an extended half-an-hour break or 20-minute break or something like that. And then you repeat the process. And the idea is that that 25-minute timer is enough to give us sort of ample time to focus on the thing, but it also means that we have a regular break so that when we're never gonna kind of get tired of focusing as such. And it's quite a nice sort of rigid structure that we can impose on ourselves to help us maintain focus for longer. There's a few pros and a few cons of this, and I don't really use the Pomodoro technique in that sort of version of it anymore. I used to when I was in my first and second year, and the reason I used to use it is because it's quite a social thing. Like I would go to the library with my friends and we would all collectively pom together. We called it pomming. And so we would start a pom, with like a tap on the desk, and then we would end the pom with a tap on the desk, and then we would end the 5-minute break with 2 taps, and that would be a sign that the next pom was going to begin. And it was just quite a fun social thing because everyone could be doing different subjects, and in fact we all were doing different subjects, but we were all in the same library at my college, Emmanuel College, and we would kind of pom together, and it would feel like a sort of shared community group learning session even though we were all doing different subjects. So that's one of the advantages. The other advantage is that if we find it hard to focus on the thing, or what we're doing just really isn't fun, like doing our taxes or whatever, then the end of that 25-minute session is sort of like a light at the end of the tunnel, and we can think, oh yes, I've only got 7 more minutes to focus, and then we can focus for 7 minutes, and then we can breathe a sigh of relief as we take that break. So that's sort of the benefits of the Pomodoro technique, and of course it forces us to take breaks, so it's good. The reason I don't really use it anymore in that particular realm is that usually when I'm studying, I don't have a problem with focusing for more than 25 minutes. If I'm doing something that's really boring, then I do. But most of the stuff that I do in my life is just generally quite fun. And if I'm studying renal physiology or preparing for an exam or something, then I actually kind of focus for about 40 or 45 minutes before I can sort of internally just sense myself losing focus. And at that point, I'm like, okay, cool, it's been 45 minutes. I'm going to take a 15-minute break and make myself a cup of coffee or something like that. I think the Pomodoro technique does have its benefits, but I don't think we shouldn't stick to it so rigidly. Like we should use the technique as a tool rather than being a slave to the technique. And I know lots of people who say things like, oh, I tried the Pomodoro technique, but I got really annoyed when the 25 minutes was up because I actually needed an extra 5 minutes. If you need an extra 5 minutes to finish the bit that you're doing, take the extra 5 minutes. Like this is just a guideline. It's not really a rule, sort of like the Pirates Code in Pirates of the Caribbean. But yeah, that's what the Pomodoro method is useful for. And so many people swear by it. There's a few different apps that you can use for it. I think if you just type in Pomodoro timer on Google, it's got one built in. So we used to use that one. There's a website, tomatotimer.com, that also works. And then there's the app that I used to use for this when I was in my 5th year of med school, and that app is called Forest. And the idea behind Forest is that you start your pom session, and the way it works is that it kind of grows a tree for you. And if you go off the app, or if you go to a different app on your phone during that 25 minutes, then your tree dies and you have to start again. So as your tree is growing, you have to kind of stay on the app screen watching the tree grow for 25 minutes, which forces you to not get distracted with your phone. And then the 5-minute break kind of it times it for you, and then it starts a new tree. This is quite a nice way of pomodoroing or pomming, because you know that you can't go on your phone because then your tree's going to die. And they've got like a leaderboard, and you can connect with your friends and stuff, so you can see who's doing how many Pomodoro sessions in a given day. And you can be like, oh damn, Marcus did 8 hours worth of poms yesterday. He must be doing really well in exams. Why don't I, motivate myself to do a bit more studying? So that was how I used to use the Pomodoro method in 5th year when preparing for my obstetrics and gynecology and pediatrics exams. But like I said, I don't really use it as rigidly anymore. I think I'm now at the point where I can just kind of focus for 45 minutes, 50 minutes at a time, and then I'll take a break, and yeah, that's all good. So that's the Pomodoro method. If you haven't tried it yet, you might find it works for you. I think it's really great when you're working with friends, because then you can all pom together and then you can all just have a chat in the 5-minute break. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.